Hi, collective. I'm slightly laughing at myself because I'm getting pinker and pinker as the time goes. None of this will look right when I get back home, so I'm sort of using it all. So thank you for stopping by. This is my penultimate day in this location in Italy anyway, because we are going to celebrate a birthday, and so tomorrow we go to another place. So I've just snuck down here, and in fact we're celebrating a little birthday party tonight as well. So I sort of have this strange feeling of longing to just stay here. Anyway, there you go. It's hard to it's hard to leave a place that you've bonded with, and there's something about sitting right here for nigh on 3 weeks, day in, day out, 3 times a day, kind of forming a structure around it that I've really, really enjoyed. So I will be back soon. But as my maiden voyage on YouTube, it's been really lovely to be here. What a place. It's always difficult moving from one state to the other, isn't it? Things I've seen today. I have seen a partridge when my boyfriend was upstairs cooking a birthday cake for our friend who we're going to celebrate tomorrow. Oh, what's that walking around? There's a bird walking around that field, but is it a bird? Is it a kind of... Oh, it's a blackbird of some sort. I saw a partridge walk past our door, so I don't know if that, which was really funny, like sort of off for a walk in the neighbourhood. We had the door propped open, and I thought, oh, that's such a kind of symbol of English countryside. It slightly surprised me. Of course, they have them here, but anyway. So if anyone, anyway, this is a collective. So, but that's just added confirmation for anyone who has seen or thought about a partridge or relates to them recently, or just like partridges. Partridge in a pear tree, something about that. Anyway, a card for the collective's interior, please. Those that are turning up to this timeless reading. So we have the Empress, the Ten of Swords, and the Two of Wands. Interesting combination. And crossing this energy, how this makes you act in the outside world. Oh, 3 cards again. So we're going for the 3s today. That's interesting. We've got the 19 in the Sun of the Major Arcana, the 7 of Cups, and the King of Cups crossing you. How it makes you act. Interesting. At the basis of the reading, please. The Chariot. This is coming up a lot. It's really interesting. And something from the near recent past, the Knight of Pentacles. And a potential outcome. Oh, that's too many cards. I mean, the 4 of Pentacles was flipped up the right way, but I just want a bit of clarity on that. The potential outcome, the rest came out with it. Look at those clouds today. I wonder whether you can see them. They're amazing. Potential outcome. 10 of Wands. Okay. And something for the near future. Another 3. There's the 4 of Pentacles. The 3 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. Lots of 3s. 3, 3, 3. Okay. In terms of the number of cards, if you know what I mean. And your attitude, the collective's attitude. 2, but there was this one wanted to come out as well. So that's 2 of Cups, slightly separately from the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Swords and the Two of Cups. Nice in your attitude. And then your environment. Your environment. No, I pulled those quickly. How about your environment? The Hierophant. And your hopes and fears. Your hopes and fears. It's funny, the different energy at different times of day, isn't it? When I do the dawn, 4 cards now. We've got the Five of Wands, the major six of the Lovers. I'm going to have to cover those naked bodies up. The Eight of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is in your hopes and fears. It's a lot of busy energy, collective. And an outcome. An outcome. Can we have an outcome, please? Just one card. Oh, second one came. The Page of Swords and the Six of Cups. Lovely. So we have, over the 10 that should be here, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 extra, so that's 22 cards. And out of that number we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 majors. So not so much. So it's more to do with, rather than overarching themes, I think we're talking really about day to day here. And it's busy. There's a lot of activity going on, a lot of change. And in the basis of the reading, I'm not even going to bother work out whether there's more wands or pentacles, because I can see that just from a smattering view we've got, well, there's quite a lot of cups, to be fair. There is quite a lot of cups, so it's, but also there's an equal spread. The swords are relatively, no, there's enough of all of them, but I am seeing the cups, so something to do with what you love. And the Chariot here. I've been wearing so many glasses since I've been here that I think I've ruined my eyesight. Don't do that. If you're younger than me and if your eyes are still fine, don't start relying on them, because now, oh yeah, that's much better. I can see a lot more. So I'm going to keep these on for a moment. My funny pink €9 little Italian throwaway glasses, but I love them. Okay, so in the basis, we've got you as in the Chariot, sort of finding your true path, following all those magical symbols around you, taking the first line of the Arcana and sort of all that you've learnt in that first sort of set of stages in this kind of magical journey you're going on. No, I think it's, oh God, it's better with them. So it's about finding your true path, but with aligned to all the kind of the mysticism, I want to say, so that it feels really yours and that you find success and you're determined to follow it. And it can be quite fast and furious, which we obviously see here in your energy, but it's also an amazing epic quest that you will find super exciting. So I love that. And in your interior energy, and I'm going to try, because these readings are getting longer and longer, so I'm going to try and kind of chippity-choppity with it a bit so that anyone who hasn't got so much time won't have to listen to me banging on too much. So in your interior, the Three of the Empress, and we keep getting chunks of 3 cards. So she's very emphasised for me. The major three of the Empress, the 10 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands. So it's like the 3 of the Empress is presiding over this new Chariot quest, because she keeps turning up. She's made her mark on this reading by going 3, 3, 3, and she's here right in your inner self. So what I want to say about her is that she's presiding over this thing, and this internally you've given up on something. There's a sense of not trying to fight to keep something going that's really had its day. I don't know if this is your old way of, your old quest, your old way of loving and working with the world, and how you've sort of use that kind of epic, your epic questing nature has transformed in such a way, and now the Empress is in charge of it, that you're not even trying to revive how you used to do it. And he makes a little symbol with his hands, which is the same that the Hierophant makes. And we've got the Hierophant. Oh, and the centipede's turned up. He's going round the Hierophant as I'm saying it. Oh my God, that's so cool. Let me move the Three of Cups out of his way. Yeah, he's just highlighted that hand gesture and the Hierophant are important in this process as well. Something that's really aligned to your inner being. So you've given up on what hasn't aligned to your inner being. The new dawn's coming. The Empress is presiding over this entire process, and you're now under her watch, starting to look out for what might be a good way forward. I wonder whether I've got my big red glasses, because they're really cool actually, even though, because they're sort of so big, they're too big, the magnification is too much, but it does something really interesting. It kind of gets me to look at really little details, but maybe I haven't brought them down here. Let's just check in this. I've just done all the washing and put it out to dry, and everything's kind of, no, I think they're upstairs. So the Emperor's presiding over this quest. She's sending you off on this quest, okay? And it's funny, where I'm looking at the camera, I've got this little message that's come through from a response from one of my godchildren. So I've got to mention it because I keep getting distracted by it. So the message is up right next to where I'm looking, and it says, "Thank you so much, Pip. Love you always," which is really very sweet. And so there's kind of that loving emphasis of the Empress is presiding over this. So her love is the part that is being emphasised for me. And then whatever this mudra means, which we're going to look up because the Hierophant does it, and so does this Ten of Swords. He's given up, but he wants you to know a secret message from his hand gesture. So you're following the path of love now. And crossing you on your quest. So the way that you act in the outside world because of this, I'm just going to try my other new glasses. Just, they all give me slightly different sight. So these are quite good for looking at the screen over there. My big red ones are great for amplifying really tiny details because they're basically like a magnifying glass. And these brand new ones are a bit like 3D trippiness that, if you have to get used to new glasses. I'm going to try these because they amplify things in quite a trippy way. I'm liking it. It's like this new vision of your quest. So how it's making you act, this ending and this setting off on a quest of love and trying to sort of find out where that is. You feel very enthusiastic. You're riding away from the wall of past hurts. In that youthful, optimistic energy. You've got the sunflowers, which would turn up with the Queen of Wands, who's not here. You've got that red drape flying and the sun presiding over everything, this beautiful symbol of optimism, and you're on a white horse. And I love the white horse because we had a sort of family thing where my dad always used to get us when we were on walks, all of us, when we were kids. We used to go to the same place every year on holiday in England, and we'd do this circular walk, and he'd always say, there were lots of ponies in this area, and he used to say to us, look, oh, did you see the white horse? And we'd all go, where? And he'd go, oh, you've missed it again. It was kind of one of those silly dad jokes that used to drive us mad, because there weren't any, as far as we were concerned, white ponies, because we could only see various other colours. And rather beautifully, my sister and I, and my brother actually, and his wife, we've been back many times to do this circular walk in various kind of groups of us as a family. And my sister and I were on our own together for the first time that we looked up on this circular walk at dusk and saw a white horse, and it felt like a message. So I want to say maybe there's a message of optimism coming from an past ancestral person, because that's coming into my mind, and trying to keep you in that yangy on pathway and saying, come on, you can do this. You can do this, Duffy Moon. That's something else my dad used to say, because we used to watch this program in the 80s which was called Duffy Moon. I'll put a link to it. It was hilarious, about a kind of psychic ESP. He could affect things with the mind, and they always used to say, you can do it, Duffy Moon, and then he'd be able to. So there's that air of encouragement. However, with that at your back, you're still in that Seven of Cups. Oh, do I do it? What do I want? Oh, I'm not sure. Emotional King of Cups. Oh, but I feel like this 1 minute and then I don't. And do I do it this way or not? And should I be going for this? Should I put my energy somewhere else? Okay, but we want you to listen to that sun, because as we know, in the basis, we've got that yellow energy of this epic quest, and the stars and the heart chakra open, and that yellow around the heart. You know, this is going to need you to be quite magical in the way that you go about things, in a way. I don't want to see you become stuck in your kind of emotional world. I want you to realise you've got sort of the allies from other places are there for you. And what's standing out? His golden belt. And actually the fact that not only does he have stars above him, but he's got stars behind him. He's got a lot of backing, is what I want to say. And then this golden protective belt that's slung over one hip and has got hieroglyphics on it. And it feels kind of protective, like Wonder Woman. All my dad's metaphors are coming up now. Maybe my dad's popped into this reading. He's in spirit. Do you remember how Wonder Woman would wear those things round her wrists and her head? There's all that kind of protective Wonder Woman type energy, but this is around your hips, specifically going down to your left hip, your feminine side. And the breastplate is really golden and never usually stands out to me. Sorry, Muzzy, but I can't be your meal. But this area of your heart is really optimistically lit up. So that's how your quest needs to be informed, with all that yellow energy, and from the backing of your ancestors and this sort of sacred knowledge. In the recent past, you've been very steadily working towards something with some optimism. Look at how beautifully yellow that background is. I sort of feel you've been putting some work in, actually. And there's sort of red, I'm looking at all the red regalia that the horse wears, and the fact that his hair almost looks like oak trees, leaves. Where I sit here, this forest is full of Holm Oak, Holme. And that's an interesting symbolism when you look it up. I'll put something to that at the end about that as well. I weirdly get quite excited about the idea of putting all the notes in, because it's almost like a kind of inspiration diary for myself, apart from, I hope you will get something out of it as well, but I like the idea of this back page or with all of these things in it, or notes about it, because if you can follow some of those things that spark with you, it might make your mind kind of unfurl. Anyway, we're in a Holm Oak. There are hazel, there are other things. There's normal oak, there's beech, I think, as far as I can see, but a lot of Holm Oak. What's the word for that? Holm Oak, or, oh, I forget, I'll put it in. And that's got a real symbolism. So there's something about the support of that kind of natural world, and trees and oaks and the Knight of Pentacles are very much similar energy. They're steady, they don't go anywhere, but they're enormously resilient, reliable, careful with those that they meet. Do you know what I mean? They stand and watch and give us so much joy over the seasons and so much sort of shelter, and they're just magnificent beings. I love trees. But all his red and his oaky leaves that on his head, and the same with the knight actually, and he's got an orange sort of shawl and this red stratified land. But the horse is almost the star of the show because he's the one that's going to take you somewhere on your quest. So I feel like he's in line with the chariot, and he's saying, in the past, you've either had a lot of support from someone like that recently, or you've been employing that side of yourself. And he's, good on you. That gets you ready for these epic journeys. You need to be steady. And then here comes a stage card. These double lines indicate stages, and Pamela Coleman Smith was a set designer, and so we don't quite know why this became part of the vernacular. Maybe it was just of these minor arcanas, but maybe it was just because she was so used to working with sets. But actually, I don't believe that, because I think she was very intentional about everything she did. We can see the bottom of his foot of this Ten of Wands, which is a bit rude in some cultures, and we can see the sense that as a potential outcome, this could be like the minor to the devil, very exciting, slightly obsessive around work, a lot to hold, and we want you to put those down a little bit. We don't want you to get caught at this stage. We need you to move past this stage. It would only be a stage where everything feels quite overexcitable, addictive, compulsive, and a bit heavy to hold. But because I'm seeing the stage so firmly, I want you to think about kind of moving on from that so that you keep going, because he's not moving very fast because he's too burdened. And in your near future, we have the Four of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups. So again, 3 cards and 2 threes within it. So we're being pulled back to the Empress, and this message from my goddaughter is still there. So I keep thinking about the love of the Empress, and she's here again, and she's informing with those 2 threes. She's saying, with love, go and celebrate with your community, and build something beautiful with your community. Hold on to that idea is, I think, what she's saying. Hold on to my message, because we've got the Four of Pentacles holding on. Yeah, hold on to my message of the heart, because he's holding something above his heart, in front of his heart, one of the pentacles. And he's just a stage as well. He's a stage. So she's sort of, maybe it's stage direction. A direction on the stage. Stage direction. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe it's a direct, put down the wands, that you're overburdened, and here, hold on to this over your heart. I want you to communicate and celebrate and cooperate in the manner that the Empress would, to generate something new in a creative way, because the Empress makes babies and harvests and creative projects, and she wants you to have all of that energy for this quest. So it's a creative, it's a very creative, beautiful, possibly artistic project in a community, cooperation. Such lovely energy. And in your attitude, we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Two of Cups. So you've got the right attitude. Well done, collective partridge people. Partridge makes me think of, what's his name? Alan Partridge. The Queen of Pentacles does look after all her environment and her creations, and she's well honoured within her environment, and with it for her contribution. She's paid well, she's honoured well, and yeah, she looks lovely. Look at this bower around her and all the roses and the yellow, and her little rabbit and her 2 little red feathers, and she's lovingly looking at this creation you're making. So I think you've got the really right attitude of knowing that this is really worth it, that it's really valuable, and that you are contributing something of worth that will give you worth back. And you've learned a lot recently. You've learned a lot from that, whatever it is you gave up in that Ten of Swords, where you just gave up trying anymore. By the way, we've got those two tens, the 10 in your internal being and the 10 of Wands. So maybe you're still carrying in that potential outcome something of your 10 of Swords experience that we want you to put down. Here you're learning from this new quest, you're learning, you're taking all the parts of yourself into calm waters to find a union, to find something you really love and share it with the world. And I always love how his tunic is so sort of unique. It's animal print, isn't it? It's really strange. It's kind of like a crazy animal print. So it's like presided over by the caduceus and this lion, this symbol of Leo, and which implies doing something slightly in for people. It's a stage, so maybe a stage direction again, and maybe as I'm going with that one today, and maybe the stage direction is get your animal side and your innocent side to work together with all your new knowledge to bring something of value to people. And so it's a great attitude you've got here. And in your environment, the Hierophant, I always say she at the moment because she just looks so female. I can't see her as a man anymore. Fallopian tubes at the top of the... I mean, I haven't done biology for a while. That's probably completely wrong. I want to know what that symbol in her hand means. I haven't looked that up for a while. But the two crossed keys. So the Hierophant suggests within your environment that you've probably informed by that Knight of Pentacles with all that steady work, that you're really finding something really correct, the right moral, correct quest. Now, there might be people who are helping you in your environment, guides somehow, who are giving you these keys, who are helping to unlock this for you. Or maybe you've just set up such a beautiful environment. And I'm looking at these pineal glands. On the back of this bench, these beautiful pinecone pineal glands that make me think of her or his headdress, the Hierophant's headdress. So maybe the right way is following your intuition, because that's so loud to me today. Of course it's the right way. Heart, solar plexus, root chakra, marked by those little crosses on that bit that goes down in the front of her or his cassock, and here at the feet, two little crosses. So really grounded, and then grounded in the base chakra, the solar plexus chakra and the heart chakra, but overall presided over by the pineal gland, the sense of intuition and trusting your own intuition to take you on the right route. So you've set up systems somehow in your environment. Your environment is really supportive of that, which I love. It's very important with your eyesight to keep looking at the distance if you're someone who uses a screen or reads a lot. And so that's got something to do with this reading as well. Keep looking up on your quest. Look for where you're headed, like the Two of Wands. And then in your hopes and fears, the Five of Wands, the major to the Two of Cups, which we've got in your attitude, which is the Lovers, a divine choice being offered to you. And I always see him as the green man, the angel. The Eight of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. So what you want, you really want to get in and compete for this. This quest is worth everything for you. This feels like you're finally aligning to something that's really... Thank you, Cockerel. I hope you heard that. Finally aligning to something that's really you, and you're prepared to use this fun, competitive, youthful side of yourself to embrace this. Yes, the cockerel has been quiet and he's now saying, yes, get in and fight for this. And then I'm hiding the bodies of the lovers in the major six. We've got the Six of Swords obviously here, so that's being, and we've got the Six of Cups coming up in your outcome. So that's lovely. Have we got a 9? No, I don't see a 9. That's fine. What have we got in your attitude? No 9, no 7. So 7 of Cups, emphasising the Chariot. Yeah, so you're fighting for this, to take this divine choice, to be in partnership with this green man presided over, amazing new start. And that's really standing out to me today. The mountain at the base. God, it reminds me of something like sort of a notebook where you've drawn, like maybe you've put all your plans in. That's so strange. It's coming out really strongly as a notebook. I've had a notebook that had that kind of cross-hatching on it before. I feel like you've made a map and you want to align to this divine route map for your chariot, even though we know the chariot just goes by instincts. It's a very simple map. Just head for that amazing, passionate red mountain presided over, I can't help but by saying, by the green man. More red wings. We've got the red wings on top of her hat. We've got the red wings in the Two of Cups that's in your attitude, both of those things. And we've got, where are the other red wings? We've got sort of an implication of that in the Sun card with that sort of lovely drape that's going across the side of the thing, and also her bolster. But I think that's it for red wings, but they're really standing out to me. So follow that passionate calling with passion, and this is what you're hoping and fearing for, but then knuckle down and become an expert in this, and don't lose patience. That's 7 and 8 are so key. So with all this very heady, idealistic energy, we really want you to be able to stick to this new plan, not get frustrated, not think, oh, I wanted a harvest sooner than it's ready, but also work on your skill, hone your skill with this 8 of Pentacles who's loving what he's doing. So those are great aims. And I think, oh, that's interesting. So the hands on the lover, I've never seen this before, are kind of red with that cross-hatching, like they've been touching that mountain. So that you remember what the mountain looked like with the bunny cross-hatching. Do you see how the hands have got the same thing? Like maybe the angel has made this map for you. Maybe that's the residual of it, as they've kind of given you your aim to head for. That's its residual on its hands. These are wonderful aims, and if you're frightened of anything, it would be getting in and being competitive. It might not be your normal stance. How once we take a choice, I suppose it knocks out other opportunities, or it collapses other possibilities. And, you know, just wanting to be really, really good and stick to something, that might be worrying that somehow you might not be able to. But basically, this is what you're aiming for, to become utterly focused and passionate and good and committed to this new divine choice, this red mountain with the cross-hatching that's been drawn for you by kind of a sense of the divine. And where it's all leading is I thought something before. You know what it is? It's on that 8 of Pentacles. Someone else has ribbons, ties, and it's one of the queens, I think. It's a female figure. but I'm always curious about them because they only appear twice. So it's as if something that you can put on and take off quite easily. Anyway, so I suppose that means you don't want to be head down all the time. You want to be up and taking your product to market or engaging with the world, as well as working really brilliantly as an artisan on your product or your offering, your quest, whatever it is this quest brings. And it's something real because the Empress is here. It's going to give birth to something. 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months. Nines, that's why I was saying, have we got a 9 here? And we haven't got a 9 here. So maybe that timing isn't so important, but I want you to bear it in mind anyway. But also I was looking at all the threes, the sense of the sixes turning up as well, and then the 9, like that Tesla code. Where's the 9? So another 6 and the Page of Swords, where it's leading is you strategizing and getting up on high ground with your new youthful energy messages. The pages mean messages, so more senses of kind of getting downloads or ideas of how you should strategize and pull this new quest off, and really loving it, being back in this kind of nostalgic space of really adoring something that you're doing. How amazing, how lovely. The way I said that was a bit like how blah blah, how demure. I'm not going to try and remember the other word, I'm too old for that. But it's lovely to see you returning to that youthful energy and it being so gratifying. And what am I seeing here? Just, yeah, really faking it to making it till you make it, kind of knowing what you want. So it's nice, a nice clarity after that 7 of Cups in the way you're acting at the moment. I think you suddenly get that route map and see that red mountain and it seems really clear, and it really connects you with a sense of intergenerational love. And you know, I always laugh at how the child, you think it's a brother and sister, but actually it's weird. It's like a giant child giving a tiny, tiny old lady with her grey hair and her oven mitt a gift. So it's like the different parts of yourself communicating, the wisdom and the childlike enthusiasm, having a kind of perfect union between them. Or is it that you're giving a gift to your ancestors, because we know they're slightly here, something they would have loved to see you do, you're realising? Amazing. Right, I think we've done quite well. 37 minutes, slightly better than normal. I'm going to pull some clarifiers from the Enchanted Wisdom and the Shining Tarot, Shining Tribe deck by Rachel Pollock. So let's do the Enchanted Wisdom first. This is how I like to do it, and then we'll, if we're not getting too over the top, we'll do the Lua Tarot as well for clarity. That's my neighbours setting the baby's birthday party up upstairs. If you heard that bang, right? I'm imagining it's balloons, which is nice. Oh, what have we got here? It's nice that there's a thought of celebrating as well. Oh, nice. 7 of Challenges. So that would be the 7 of Swords. So all these foxes carrying things. That's a be careful card. And the Council of Animals. They're very interested in what you're doing. Right, let's get some clarity. I love, they're very whimsical, these cards. But so one set that I clarify is with very whimsical, and the other is quite dense, and I think it's a nice way of balancing the energies at the end. So 7 of Challenges. First of all, sneakiness, secrets, strategy, using your wits to get what you want. That's pointing us towards the Page of Swords. A lapse of ethics. Well, we don't want that. The fox with the teacup has been looking for the china pattern ever since he stole its matching saucer. So that's a sort of air of hilarity that makes it feel a little bit less serious. So they're stealing things from around a campfire and a gypsy caravan. The travellers, having had their supper and smored the fire, are cosily tucked into their vardo for the night. They came far into the deep forest so that they could have no fear of intruders. It will be good to get a peaceful night's sleep. The scenario is exactly what the skulk of foxes loves the best. I love the words that they use in here. I mean, I wouldn't know what smored the fire meant, or a vardo for that matter. I mean, I know exactly what they mean in the context of this. And I like the idea of the skulk of foxes. So the scenario is exactly what the skulk of foxes loves best, the pleasure of stealing enhanced by the pleasure of making fools of unwary innocents. Oh no. They step lightly through the clearing, slyly confident in their sneaky skills. They are foxes of the enchanted forest, and the things they steal are not the things normal foxes would take, such as food or livestock. You never know what one of these foxes is going to want, whether you can actually use it or not. Whether they can actually use it or not. When these vulpine bandits, God, they've got very wordy on this one, appear in a reading, something is going on behind your back. Someone's trying to get away with something by cheating or outright theft. It may be in an arena where you feel you are safe, so you've relaxed your vigilance, or perhaps you are the one whose actions don't bear close scrutiny. Have you violated your own ethical code? Now, what I'm seeing is a shoe that they've left underneath the vardo or caravan, and they're taking a cup and a bag and an accordion. So it's an interesting message. It makes me think of when I was much, much younger. I remember being in a garden of some friends, like a group of friends who were living together. I mean, in my 20s, and it was a long, thin garden in this place they were renting, and we all had a lovely evening out in the garden, and I left my lovely brand new black suede bag that just had like no hardware on it at all. It was just a piece of suede with suede handle that was just one handle that went up and over. And when I left it at the bottom of the garden where we'd all been sitting, and when I went to get it at the end of the evening, a fox had come along and just chewed off the handle. You could see the sort of, it had obviously, but it had done it right along the seam, as if, you know, it was adapting the design. It hadn't just chewed it in the middle, it had chewed right next to where it was sewed onto the actual bag. And it was so curious, it sort of almost felt a bit weird. It felt like, has someone done this here? Because it was such a sort of intentional human type thing, and I think it was a fox. But I've had experiences since that at parties, weirdly, and gatherings where something has been stolen from me, and I felt it to be more than just the stealing of the thing. It was a kind of red alert in both of those cases that my energy was being taken for granted, stolen, used in the wrong way. So I want to say to you, because those are the stories that are popping into my mind, that this is to do with bags, and a phone. I think it's to do with how, I think it's to do with someone who could take you off course by stealing your energy. Okay, so I want you to be really aware of that, because we haven't really got that energy anywhere else. And it might also be something in your new venture that you have to be aware of security with, okay? Because there's a sense in which it's going to be quite interesting what you're doing, and you might be slightly attracting the wrong attention somehow. But I don't want that to slow you down. I want you to just be aware of it. And then 20, the Council of Animals. Meaning at a glance. Judgment, assessment. This is the judgment. Self-awareness, forgiveness, atonement, enlightenment. So both these cards are about kind of doing the right moral thing, or watching for the right moral thing, not being transgressed. Okay. There are 12 animals in this council, and they change into the 12th moon to allow. They change every 12th moon to allow for a different point of view. When fish are on the council, the meetings take place in the sacred lake. And there's a fox there, actually. I love it. They're looking so sort of serious and interested. A journey through the forest can have profound meaning or be utterly meaningless, depending on what you bring to it. Intentions count as much as actions. Devious successes are far worse than errors made in innocence. The Council of Animals convenes at fateful turning points to evaluate the traveller's progress and rule in judgment of for the future. Each council animal has its own unique wisdom, insight, and perspective. Each is authentically itself and expects you to be too. Don't ever think that you can fool the council or yourself. It's time for a reckoning. Gosh, this is such a different energy. Well, I suppose it takes us to your environment and the Hierophant, because the Hierophant would like this kind of keeping everything on a very moral route. When you are called before the Council of Animals, it's a sign that you are ready to face some tough truths. Epiphanies are possible. You may begin to see a new purpose for your life, as well as, well, we know that. You may begin to see a new purpose for your life. At the very least, you will come to know yourself better, toady, warts and all. That's interesting. And they suggest a spread that's on page 206, that I'm just interested what questions they ask of that spread. So these are the questions that I think are really important that you answer in this new quest that you're on. Because they said to you, you may begin a new purpose. And in order to keep it aligned, I want you not to lose your energy, like the Seven of Challenges, Seven of Swords is suggesting. Don't give it away, don't let it be stolen. But also keep yourself on a moral path. Really think about a moral just keeping aligned to your ethics. And the questions that this council want to ask you is, Toad wants to ask you, what are you really? Fox wants to ask you, what brings you delight? Deer wants to ask you, who do you love? These are all questions the Empress would ask, by the way. Deer, what do you love? So, what are you really? What brings you delight? What do you love? Tawny Owl, what do you know? Merlin Hawk, what is your prey? Bat, what fuels your flight? Squirrel, what do you covet? Raven, what is your secret? Hare, what is your madness? Hedgehog, what is your song? Bear, what is your strength of character? Badger, what is your philosophy? I love that. I'm going to put those questions down at the end or in the notes or however I end up doing it. And we might do one of these readings next time because I love those questions. I think that's really wonderful. And it's the way that you would sort of almost like we're with a business consultant or a management consultant starting off, just getting you all aligned for this new quest. Although you're following your secret guidance, your intuitive guidance, it's not bad to ask those questions of it so that you don't get taken advantage of and that you hone this beautifully. I think they're wonderful, those questions. Right, anything to add from Rachel Pollock? The Four of Stones did want to come out, but I sort of felt like I like it to jump really, but I'm going to remember the Four of Stones. So is there anything to add to this reading, anything you want to draw attention to? Oh, 10 of Stones and the Two of Rivers. That's lovely. I think they're both very positive cards. I'll try, because we're now at 48 minutes. We're doing well. It's not as long as normal. Two of Rivers. Eight of Rivers, Two of Rivers. I've read both of these recently, but so they have a little poem and then a précis. Sisters and brothers, twins in the womb, brother light and sister dark, kissing at twilight, embracing at dawn. And the little meaning is change. Something that seemed fixed is shifting. Openness to the adjustment allows change to flow smoothly. Peace in the midst of great activity. The possibility of love and romance. So that's peaceful, knowing that it's acknowledging the change, but it's saying that you can be peaceful with this change. And it draws our eye to the Two of Cups because it says, this is the Two of Cups. Sorry, that's why it's drawing our cup. So that was in your attitude. So it wants you to think about that part of your attitude. which is balancing. Think of yin and yang as strictly philosophical terms of light and dark, male and female, active and still. So it's sort of talking about balancing. It's here the circle has become two fish, one light, one dark, swimming head to head, head to tail. The tails extend past the midline. Where's it gone? Symbolising the way new experiences have their root in what has gone before. So it's talking about this new experience still. Unlike the Chinese yin-yang symbol, the two fish produce an empty area between them. The space between the fish is an egg shape like the number 0 for all potentiality. While we may think of the world as sharply divided into opposites, all experience emerges from the centre, which is neither one thing or the other. When we can see through the chaos and busyness of our lives to the quiet centre, the nothingness, we will free ourselves from the currents that sweep us from one event to another. Paradoxically, people who find this stillness handle events and crises more fluidly. A single bright fish swims away from the centre, signifying new experience, so it's really emphasising that. Two dark fish return to the left. The Magician, card 1, the archetype of light, while the High Priestess card 2 is darkness. In between we see a stone wall, the I Ching hexagram 48. The well reminds us that generations pass, cultures change, but the simple needs of life remain constant. The I Ching describes the well as a source of spiritual truth and a link to previous generations. We've had that coming out in the reading, a feeling that something from your generational heritage or the previous generations is either guiding you someone or you're trying to live out something that might have been seeded in a previous generation. Here it also recalls the previous card, the Ace of Cups. In some tarot texts, the Two of Cups shows young lovers, well that's who we've got in our attitude, who toast each other and pledge their love. We find this idea implied by the two fish who join together. To make a circle, they have to make their bodies flexible the way lovers do to adapt to each other's needs and behaviours. So it's reminding us of change and balance in our attitude and something shifting, and we must be open to allow things to move smoothly. Oh, is it raining? And the link to the previous generations. This card connects the tarot to the I Ching, the Chinese Book of Changes, a divinatory work many consider the oldest book in the world. Many people will know the yin-yang symbol, a dark divided by black and white halves. So it's about melding opposites in this quest, which brings us back to these characters who felt quite maternal to me, who link to that Empress energy, and I think it's really important that you remember that you have to do a kind of alchemy of involving all elements. And then the Ten of Stones. Ten of Stones. I've left all my washing out, so I hope it's not about to rain. Ten of Stones, here we go. And we did have the Four of Stones pop out, which was stability, structure, security, including economic security. All of these do not control or stifle the person, but rather create opportunities, good relationships, discover, especially of the wonder in the small things, a look at the past. So that's just a reminder that this is going to be very structurally very lucrative, what you might be involved in. Physically quite lucrative is what I meant to say. Like, Ten of Stones, pictures in the mind, instinct on fire, our ancestors' voice whisper, treasures of memory. So again, the ancestors are coming in. This is, well, it's something to do with somebody in your past, in your history, family history. Wealth, both spiritual and material, going to the source of good experience, finding great value in what life has given you, property, sharing your wealth and success with others, security. Gosh, it really wants to emphasise that this is going to be a very lucrative thing for you. The stones signify what a person has made of their life. Some images are natural, some painted, some with no separation. Rivers of colour move across the sky. To the left of the stones we see tracks of light symbolising the possibilities in a person's life. They are all the same colours. On the right, these potentials have changed to the physical reality of 10 lines in various coloured pebbles. This is a card of great success. It's the 10 of Pentacles. It's really amazing. I'm trying not to read too much so that we don't keep this too long. It's saying you are creating something of great worth, I think, because the first one that wanted to pop out was going to say that as well. Footprints approach on the left, as if someone has gone to the sacred place of the tribe. On the right, we see bird tracks leaving the rocks. Along with the light in the sky, the tracks hint at a transformation that can take place when we allow ourselves truly to experience prosperity as a sacred gift. So, two things that come to mind. The partridge. I'm going to look up what partridge, but a partridge in a pear tree, what partridges symbolise, bird tracks, but also allowing what changes can take place when we allow ourselves to truly experience prosperity as a sacred gift. It's everywhere. Prosperity is everywhere. This card talks about how we make prosperity and what we're experiencing. But it's also the Ten of Pentacles, which is generational wealth and security. It's a lovely, lovely card. And it's putting me in mind of the fact that we went to the... my boyfriend and I were at the supermarket recently, just today, and I'm always being dragged away from the book section, even when they're in Italian, and I can't really read Italian very well. But there was a little Ester and Jerry Hicks book, and we read, and I said, just read me what it says for today. And we read it, and it was something along the lines of, you allow true prosperity when you allow that vibration into you. So something to do with Ester and Jerry Hicks and all of that kind of work, which has got huge, great big canons, including all the original people like Neville and Florence Given, I want to say. No, not Florence Given, someone I see on Instagram, but she's so lovely and positive, you should check her out. Florence Shival Shin, something like that, I'll write it down. But all those original kind of masters from, not original, one wave of them in history. It's like reminding yourself to vibrate as prosperity within this new quest, because we want that Queen of Pentacles to be paid properly. What part was she in? She's in your attitude. Yeah, you need to get value out of this now, because what you're questing for is so important that was too many cards. That you need to get as much as you're giving. And then in the final commentary from Lua Tarot, just to see if there's anything else we need to have our mind on, that one, Ace of Wands, just go for it. Wow. Isn't that a great image? And it's got the mountain in the back, that mountain that the ancestral angel green man drew for you with red, and had red all over his hands and the cross hatching. Sorry, that was a mozzie. That's lovely. That's really lovely. So let's see, it's a tiny little, and there are flowers growing from this stick. It's a tiny little guidebook. It's a volcano in the back, so passionate. And the hand, it's really lovely detail of a hand and two little flowers and mountains. Right, Ace of Wands for the final word. The root of the powers of fire. New creative beginnings, inspiration, new ideas, birth, growth, good news. Sorry. A burst of new energy, enthusiasm, optimism. Yes is the answer. So if you're still watching this and thinking, should I be going for this? Really, Empress, are you sure? Yes is the answer. A right hand reaches out, actively holding a thick, blooming wand. A volcano spews a right hand. A volcano spews a plume, so I guess that's I don't know. I was thinking right, left hemisphere, so it's using your logic a bit. A volcano spews a plume from its summit crater. The surrounding landscape is covered in ash, fertile with potential for new seeds of growth. The aces represent new beginnings, and this one speaks of new passions and new outbursts of energy and creativity. When this card appears, there is usually good news, something new to be excited about. The Ace of Wands shows divine potential, which is traditionally a divine gift through the realm of fire. This can be opportunity to begin a new project for work, art, or both. I think it's just a massive word of encouragement at the end to say this could bring you, the cards are saying this could bring you wealth. Remember all your principles. Be correct in your principles, but let's do some work on those questions. I'll put them in the bottom and we'll do a reading for those, just so that we really encourage the process to be really coherent with our values. And don't give your energy away. It's too important, this chariot quest that you're on, led by the Empress. She's in charge with all her threes. How amazing, collective. And we've done it in 1 hour. At least it's not an hour and a half. Okay, see you again. Bye.